super excited about tonight because I'm going to teach you guys something that I'm really passionate about, and that is mindset coaching. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Coach Rose Peterson. I'm a certified personal trainer, both in person and online, and a certified nutrition coach. I help moms locally in Las Vegas, Nevada, and all over the world shed the weight holding them back from becoming their most energetic and authentic version of themselves so they can go after their deepest desires alongside of motherhood. You can find me at fitandconfidentmoms.com. Tonight, we are going to talk about a subject that I'm super passionate about, and that is mindset coaching. All right, a little bit about my story. Okay, so the first picture you see, this is when I just had 2 kids. I have 3 now, but this was me, 2 kids in. This is my origin story. A new mom. I was tired all the time. I tried so many diets. Probably by the time I took this picture, had been at least 3 or 4 diets, because every time I had a kid, I was on a diet. And even before I had kids, I've been on multiple diets. And it wasn't until I finally was just so sick and tired of things not working seamlessly into my busy mom life that I finally hired a nutrition coach. So I did couch to 5K, couch to 10K, multiple different diet books I bought. And it wasn't until I hired a nutrition coach and a strength coach that I got into the best shape of my life. This is the 3rd child. She is, I think she's 3 or 4 years old in this photo. And I got in the best shape of my life. That was 5-6 years ago on strength training 3 times a week and actually eating the foods I love. And I actually ate more in that time period than I did during my other diets. But I learned a lifestyle of healthy eating, but more so is how fat loss actually works. And then this bottom photo, I just wanted to share with you guys that I was never a natural athlete, and I did not do a lot of athletics growing up. But at the age of, I'm 39 now. At the age of 35 or 36, I picked up a sport, which is Olympic weightlifting. I would have never imagined that 3 kids later, I'd fall in love with strength training and then get curious about Olympic weightlifting. Here I am. I'm actually 10 days out from my 2nd Olympic weightlifting meet coming up. So I just wanted to share part of my story. So we're going to jump right into the training, which is how change is like falling in a hole. And I know that sounds really crazy. I was inspired by this poem. The poem really helps you reflect on the choices that you make and choices that you can make and how you're in control of your path. And this is actually a lesson right out of my coaching playbook that I do with my current coaching clients. And I thought, you know what, this could be helpful for a lot of people. So I wanted to go through this with you guys. So we're going to use this poem that's going to go through the 5 chapters of change to identify what's holding you back from making progress with your goals so that you can get the results that you want to see. This is a really simple exercise. It's a really simple poem, but it's a very powerful exercise. But this is also where the coaching and tough love part of me has to come in, that in order to make change and figure out what works and what doesn't for each person, we have to look at our failures. We have to. And failure is just part of the journey. We must be willing to look at these patterns that don't serve us so that we can begin to create a new future. Does that make sense to you guys? Psychology is really prevalent right now about limiting beliefs. So this kind of plays into that limiting beliefs on like, are we really stuck? Yes. Are we really stuck? Do we really not know the path? Usually we do know the path. It's just we have to reflect on the things that didn't work so we can create a new future. You guys showed up for a reason, and I've been where you are, and I know you want to get unstuck. The poem was written by Portia Nelson. This poem is called An Autobiography in 5 Short Chapters. It's really a lesson about life. This comes out out of Portia's book, and they say that the book is insightful, humorous, touching, and inspiring. That is just a few words that they use to describe this collection of poems and truisms. And this book was designed to inspire self-discovery. The book is called There's a Hole in My Sidewalk. It's a gentle reminder to embrace your authentic self.
I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am hopeless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place, but it isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it is there. I still fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. I walk down another street.
All right. So tell me how you feel when you watch that. Does anything feel familiar on how we may in life repeat the same things over and over again, and we just end up getting the same result? And sometimes we know what causes it, and the other times we want to pretend we don't know. And then it's just these patterns that sometimes we see the patterns and sometimes we don't. And until we make these mistakes over and over and over again, a lot of times we don't see the patterns. They don't present themselves until it becomes painful over and over and over again. Reading that in poem form too is really, really powerful. So I'll drop the link in the comments later if you ever want to just have that written somewhere. But I found it impactful with my clients and for myself. And it just, it's a reminder that that's kind of how life is sometimes, is we want to change. And sometimes we keep going back to the same thing and getting the same result. But the beauty is, if we can look at those patterns and identify what's happening, we can create a new future. Just like in the video, they went down a different street. They created a new path because they saw every time they went down this path, they were getting the same result. They were getting stuck at some point. And so if you translate that to dieting and exercise, I've heard so many times people say to me, I know when I go low carb, I lose all this weight and it works. Yeah, but it works until a point. And then all of a sudden, like, life happens, or you eat normally like a regular person and the weight just comes back. Or you fall back into old patterns or old routines and then the weight comes back. So you have to ask yourself, is this way of eating or is this change that I'm making creating the outcome that I want? That is kind of where we have to give ourselves. Sometimes we have to coach ourselves and look at those mistakes. But the important thing is that you forgive yourself and you move on. So you forgive yourself and you create that new future. And sometimes you may not even need to forgive yourself. Sometimes it's you learn something new and you just realize that, oh my gosh, I've been doing this the wrong way for so long. But if you continue to keep doing that and continuing to try to make it work for you when it's not working for you, then we're stuck down the same path. So in order to get unstuck, we have to take a look at the patterns that are not serving us, take a look at the patterns that are going to serve us. And sometimes that takes experimentation, walking down a new street, looking at a new path. And sometimes it takes somebody else to help guide us find that new path. And that's exactly what I ended up having to do years ago, was hiring a nutrition coach that was experienced. Back then, when I hired this nutrition coach, it came with a lot of accountability and support. And I didn't know it back then, but I needed that. Back then, I thought I should know better. I should be able to do this on my own. But it wasn't until I had the accountability and support to realize, yeah, I could have done this on my own, but it's so much easier when I have accountability, when I have support. before. And when I have somebody from the outside looking in saying, hey, I've noticed that this, and this is happening. Do you recognize this? Is there a pattern here? Or someone that can point that out? Sometimes it's hard for us to see that. Like I said, I didn't realize until I had the information I needed. So now what do we do next? Like, the information's out there, but no one really teaches you how to implement it in your life. And so it can be overwhelming. Adria Firestone, who is a transformation coach, and I just stumbled upon her because I was doing research on Portia Nelson before this presentation. She said, it's hard to recognize a pattern until it happens multiple times. Forgive yourself and move on. You can design a life you love. You guys know your own habits. You know your own tendencies, and you know your patterns. A lot of times as moms, we're so busy to stop and take a moment to sit down and look at what's serving us or what's not serving us because we're in survival mode. But it's so important to take a minute to look at our patterns, habits, and tendencies without really looking back that much. I want you to try to look ahead because that's what's going to help you enact change. All right. To take a little bit of action into what we just learned, I want you to look ahead and ask yourself, what might challenge you today or this week or this weekend? And knowing your own habits, tendencies, and patterns, how can we avoid those? School just started again for a lot of people in Las Vegas. And moms are once again learning to transition to another role, which is getting our kids up, getting them dressed, getting them fed, getting them to school in time, crazy car lines, dealing with like a forgotten lunchbox or a forgotten mask or something like that. So we're bombarded with stress this week and we're adjusting to new things. If I wanted to get back into a mental time machine and I wanted to analyze some of my patterns and tendencies that were not serving me years ago, I used to pick up my kids, go through car line, and I would drive straight to the Starbucks. And I would tell myself that, oh, the kids had a long day. It's been really stressful. I don't really want to go home and make a snack. So I'm just going to go through the Starbucks, get them their snack. And I would tell myself this story and I would end up getting something for me. So here is another 5, 6, 700 calories, depending on what I ordered, that I did not need. And it became a habit, a tendency, and pattern, probably 2 to 3 times a week. Now that we are back in school again, I know that those same feelings of wanting some kind of reward for like getting through the day and getting my kids on time or where they need to be and like we all survive the day, I know that those feelings might come up again. Knowing that, I have to look ahead and make a plan. If I need I am serving the kids some kind of snack after they get home, then I should maybe prepare that first thing in the morning before my day gets hectic or before I get tired. Having that snack or knowing exactly what it is that I'm going to serve them when I get home. That way, I am not tempted to go hit a drive-through somewhere, feed them, and then get myself something that is not on plan. That's just a little example of something that might challenge me today or this week or the weekend. I think the weekend can kind of get a lot of people in trouble. Myself, my clients included, this is part of our accountability is we talk about what are you going to do to get through the weekend? Because we could be really, really on point all week and then we kind of let loose and get undone on the weekend. I won't dive into why that happens. For some people, you're overly strict during the week, then you end up relaxing too much on the weekend. For others, they don't have a plan. They have no planning. They plan Monday through Friday and they don't have a plan. So depending on each person and your own habits and tendencies and patterns, look ahead and think about what might challenge you. Baby step number 2 is plan. What small action could you do today in order to manage that challenge? In order to manage that challenge, whatever it is, what small action could you do? When we're starting to implement change, it's best to try with small change a little bit at a time. I don't plan, and because I don't plan, I eat unhealthy. So tomorrow I'm going to go grocery shopping, meal prep, and have all my meals ready for the rest of the week. That's like huge. That is not a small action. But if you could say, well, tomorrow, my point where I would normally treat myself is in the late afternoon. I may not know what I'm going to have for dinner yet, but I do know that in the afternoon, I tend to snack on things that are not healthy for me. So how about tomorrow morning, I'm going to get my healthy snack ready. Small action. And even the small action could just be a plan. Be like, you know what? I'm tired of being in survival mode. I'm going to write a grocery list, or I'm going to order food at smith.com. A small action could just be planning, or a small action could be to just do these 2 steps, because awareness is key and awareness is action. So taking 5 minutes to think about a habit, tendency, or pattern that is not serving you, what is one small step to change that? Or on the flip side, what is it costing you if you do nothing? What is it costing you if you just continue the same patterns and habits and tendencies? What is that costing you to do nothing? I know sometimes change feels hard, but also not changing comes with a cost as well. My clients that have been really successful, they address this. What is it costing them to not change? And that's what's going to help you stay motivated, is thinking about, well, for some people, it could be they're afraid they're going to get heart disease, like a family member, or someone in their family has type 2 diabetes and they're afraid that that's going to happen. Back aches, or they're huffing and puffing up the stairs and they're afraid that they're going to have to move into a 1-story because they're not going to be able to go upstairs much longer. So many things. I don't want to go down this like negative route. What is it costing you to not change? Just think about that for like 2 seconds and then come up with a plan of like why you will not allow that to happen, and start with small action. If you're interested in getting help, let me know. Okay. This is what I do for a living. I've helped hundreds of clients create a healthy habit structure that they need and they tell me that they want, so that healthy living fits seamlessly. Sometimes when we don't have a good structure or a good plan, it's hard to know where to start. And that's kind of what I help my clients, is we analyze that and see where we should make the best change. If you need help and you're ready to invest in finding the patterns that serve you and investing in that, let me know. I just wanted to wrap up and tell you a little bit more about my coaching. For those of you who don't know me, is that my coaching is based on 4 pillars, which is a science-based nutrition plan that actually works. With the nutrition, I try to make it simple to do, step by step, and easy to implement. The workout programming that I do has to be smart and time effective. The workouts that my moms do get the best results in the time that they have. Most of my moms only work out 3 to 4 times a week and they get results. The other part is mindset coaching, accountability, support, and a community. And a lot of times it just helps to have that community when you're working towards very similar goals as somebody else, and it helps to share. And sometimes a lot of people have good ideas better than mine and they share, and it's super helpful to have that community. I hope this was really helpful. Part of the reason why I decided to do this training is because I've talked to a lot of people and I'm hearing a lot of people say that they feel stuck, or that they know what to do and they can't figure out why they're not doing it. I just felt like this 5 chapters of change helps us as individuals shine a spotlight on, let's just take a little view of what is serving us and what is not serving us, and then taking a small step towards change. Because just like the video, we can all choose another street. We can all choose another path. We can look to see the path that is not serving us, which was us falling in the hole over and over and over again. Even though we could see the hole coming, we just keep falling in the hole. But when we decide to say, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to fall in the hole, I'm going to choose another way, I'm going to choose another street, you have the power to design and create a new future to yourself. And it all will happen the best way, step by step. And when you look at it that way of change step by step, step, that is how you create lasting change instead of trying to overhaul your entire life in 30 days, like doing like a 30-day challenge or something like that. And then it's not sustainable. We got to create and make new habits. And a lot of times we are going to stop lifelong habits. It's hard to replace old bad habits. So we got to slowly, step by step, make that change. And it is much easier when you have accountability or support. So if you have a friend who wants to get healthy as well, you guys can team up and become accountability partners. If you guys ever have any questions, send me a DM or a message, any other nutrition or fitness related questions. I hope you guys have a fabulous rest of your week. Have a good night. And if you watch this to the end, I know that making changes to your fitness and nutrition is really important to you. And as an active mom of 3, I also understand how hard it is to do it on your own without support. And that's why I would love for you to join our free community at fitandconfidentmoms.com. There's a whole group of women and busy moms just like you waiting to support you and root for you. So if you join, make sure you say hi and share with us your journey. I'm rooting for you always. Bye-bye.